Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'll give you some pros and cons of retiring into a full-time RV life. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you a problem-solving tool that you can use on any problem that looks at something from like 4 different angles, 4 different quadrants. All right, let's get into it. All right, this is a short list. It's not very comprehensive. And this is my list. Your list might be totally different. But here's a few pros and cons. Let's start with the cons. Healthcare logistics. If you have a major medical thing going on, kidney dialysis, you have to be in one location to do that periodically. Or you have major health concerns where you need to see your doctor on a very regular basis, then this is probably not a good choice for you. Residency logistics, things like voting, getting your mail, paying taxes, things like that. That can be an issue. There are workarounds, there are things you can do to mitigate that. There are states that are better for this kind of lifestyle. South Dakota is one. That's where we plan to head very shortly to set up our residency. But that can be an issue, and that may be something that you don't want to have to deal with that hassle. Things like getting your tags for your vehicles. You got to have a state that you live in order to do that. Limited space and privacy. We can't just put up a storage shed and put all our spare junk in there. So we had to minimize the things that we owned so that we can make this lifestyle work. You may not want to do that. Fuel, travel expenses. That can be a big expense. It can be offset if you're lowering your expenses that you have now, like if you're paying a big mortgage and you get rid of that mortgage, then the fuel is a lot less than a mortgage. But it's still expensive and it fluctuates, so it's not that easy to budget when fuel prices can skyrocket if a hurricane comes into the Gulf of Mexico and shuts down the gas distribution, or political things are going on that makes gas spike. Fuel can be really expensive. Travel expenses are expensive. Dumping your tanks. You're going to have to deal with that and just do it. It's not that pleasant. It's not that horrible either, but it's not that pleasant to do. And there are still chores to do. The way I looked at it is I got rid of a lot more chores. I'm not fighting kudzu in the yard. I'm not mowing a yard. I don't have a yard. I'm not doing home repairs, although, there will be repairs to this. But things like that, dumping sewage once every couple of weeks is going to be something that you'll have to do, and you may not want to do that. Okay, now a few pros. Freedom to travel anytime. So if you don't like your neighbors, you can hitch up and leave. If you're getting bored with one set of trees and woods, you can hitch up and head for the beach. So you have the freedom just to pick up and leave. And you don't get that living in a house. Adventure and life experiences. Hard to quantify that, but no 2 days are the same, and no 2 weeks are the same. You're in a different location with a different view, different weather, different things to do out in different communities. So you're collecting more life experiences than you would be if you were just sitting at home in one location. Escaping harsh weather or local disasters. Where we used to live, forest fires were a major concern. And I used to work for a county, and part of my job duties or job description was to open a shelter every time there was a local emergency. And there at the end, we were opening shelters mostly for forest fires, but also when the hurricane came through and it made it all the way to western North Carolina and flooded a few rivers. We had to open a shelter for that, and there were a lot of people displaced for that. We should never have to experience that if we can hitch up and get away from it. If we smell smoke, we can be 500 miles from here in a couple of days. If we were near the ocean and a hurricane was coming and we kept a close eye on the weather, there's no need to stay there. We can go somewhere else. So local disasters would not be an issue unless it really caught us by surprise somehow. Otherwise, we just leave. We don't have to stay there. Or weather. We got ourselves in a little bit of bind because we bought our airstream during and the location of a heat wave, very bad heat wave. So there for a little bit we were in a heat wave in a metal box. So luckily we have air conditioning. But there's no need to do that. And you can be a snowbird and go south in the winter and north in the summers, which is what we plan to do. And if your home has wheels, you can chase the good weather. More time outdoors. Even if you're not going out and hiking and doing things out there, most campgrounds are in beautiful places, wooded areas or beaches or someplace where there's a real connection to the outdoors. So your home is in a beautiful area of connected to the outdoors, so you feel more of a connection to the outdoors. And here's one that's particular to us, but you could replace this with anything that's unique to you. But great fishing opportunities. We plan to head north and fish salmon in when that season is in, and head south to the Gulf and fish redfish during that season when the weather is more suitable down there for fishing. We'll go down there and fish. We met a couple who was headed to see Billy Strings, so they're going around following musicians and music festivals and things like that. So whatever your interest or passion or hobby is, you can go and experience it and live it. You could follow the barbecue trail in North Carolina and hit all the historic barbecue joints across the state of North Carolina. Tons of different things you could do. Whatever your interest is, you can pursue it and just pack up your house and go to the next place. If it's music festivals, you could just go music festival to music festival. NASCAR racing, anything that interests you, you have the freedom to just go and do and live it. So that's my pros and cons. Let's look at a problem-solving tool that you can use that will look at a problem, whatever it is, whatever decision you're trying to make. It'll look at it from 4 different viewpoints or 4 different quadrants. Most of the time when we make a pros and cons list of any issue or any problem, we just do a simple pros of doing something and the cons of doing something. And that's the way we were taught to do it in school. And it works, but it's kind of a shallow look at any issue. But you can make 4 lists instead of 2. You can make a list of the pros of doing something and the cons of doing something, and then switch it around and make two more lists. The pros of not doing something and the cons of not doing something. That way you're looking at whatever the issue is from 4 different angles. And after you have 4, really the longest list you can make of each one of these, even if the ideas in here are not very good ones, you're just brainstorming. Think of as many pros as you can of doing something, and as many cons of doing something that you can think of. Even if they're unrealistic, just put them on that list. Do the same thing of the pros of not doing something and the cons of not doing something. That might really help you reach a decision that's right for you. All right, thanks to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you would like to find out more information about my little everyday carry journal, there's a playlist on that. And we also have this linked in our Amazon store, so check that out as well. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.